homeschooling isn't always picture perfect. Welcome to Homeschooling with Dr. B, where we'll help you find solutions to the challenges you face and celebrate your successes with you. Now, please welcome your host, Dr. B.
Welcome, my tenacious homeschool tribe. What are we going to talk about today? Organization, which I believe is the key to homeschooling successfully, or at least without driving yourself crazy. But first, let's begin by thanking our friends in Hide Feet, right? They're so cool to sponsor this episode. And Hide Feet are the insoles that massage your feet as you walk. These things are really nice. Look at these. These are wonderful. You can see the gel moving back and forth. So as you walk, the gel moves to the back or moves forward, massaging gently the bottom of your feet. I love them, especially when we go on field trips. So when you make an order at hydrofeet.com, you can get a second pair for just shipping and handling. And if you use the code OMB15%, you get an additional 15% off any purchase. So as I said, today we're going to be talking about organization. Now, I've always felt a little strange because a lot of the moms around me talk about their struggles with the organization, but that's never been an issue for me. I've always been kind of a nut duck that way. Well, let's face it, I'm a nut duck many ways. But I do feel especially strange when it comes to this because I often hear the moms sound so overwhelmed and they're always asking me, how do you manage? You always seem so together when it comes to these things. The reality is that I learned my organizational skills in Ive, Advancement via Individual Determination. It's a program that you can find in a lot of schools in the United States and in some schools worldwide. It is an excellent program, and it really taught me important foundational skills to go to college. But a lot of those skills also work well at work and can be applied to everyday living. And the organizational component was certainly one of those that has served me incredibly well. So I'm very grateful to Mary Catherine Swanson for everything she taught us in Ive. I was lucky enough to be in the group, got to work with the founder of the program. So when homeschool moms ask me, how is it that you can get all these things done when you're traveling all the time? Well, I tell them what works for me. I share what works for me. I always get up earlier than my homeschoolers. My homeschoolers typically get up around 9. I typically get up around 6 or 7. Now, depending on where I am, I like to go for a walk in the morning. Or now I'm starting to swim in the morning. We'll see how that works or if that sticks. But I'm starting that. So I like to do some kind of physical activity. Sometimes I bike. I come home, take a shower, review the lessons for the day, and then I start breakfast. After I start breakfast, I get the kids going. It always takes the kids a while. I don't have the type of kids that just jump out of bed and are awake. My kids struggle. I usually have to go in 2-3 times and say, hey, it's time to get up. Now, if you're thinking it's because they're going to bed too late, no. Doesn't matter what time I put them to bed. That's just the way they are. They're not morning people. We're a family of night owls. And we usually have breakfast together. Not always, but usually. Sometimes I make them make their own breakfast. It really depends on how fast I can get them out of bed. And then we start our lessons because we like to get our lessons out of the way in the morning. Now, once we start, and I'll give you an example. Let's say that I teach my grammar lesson for the week, and then they're going to be working on that grammar lesson for the rest of the week. I teach it. That day, they're not going to be working on it because it's the day that I taught it. And then the next day, they will be starting with grammar. While they're starting on their grammar, I will load the dishwasher, unload it, separate laundry, have a task every time that they're working independently. Then I come back. The second subject we always do is math. I teach my part of the lesson and I leave them doing the practice set. And then I come back and check and see how they've done on the practice set and make sure that they're on to the written practice. But while they're working in math independently, again, I'll be doing laundry. I will be correcting work, depending on what needs to be done for the week. Maybe making a list, making my to-do list, or making a list of items I need to get at the grocery store. It really depends. But the big thing is that while they are working independently, I always get some of my household chores done. I don't feel the need to sit with them when they're working. Now, sometimes my ADHD daughter needs me to do that. And sometimes my little bugaboo, who's 6 years old, will need me to sit with him. But for the most part, the kids work pretty independently once they have their lesson. And I really like to get as much as possible done while that's happening so that we can enjoy our time together. One thing that I definitely have to be very disciplined about is my lesson planning and grading. Now, I love lesson planning. I'm a planner. I'm an organizer and I love it, but I love it too much and I can get carried away. So I have to limit how much time I spend lesson planning because I could easily plan the next 4 years of lesson plans in one sitting and I don't want to stop. I just really enjoy it. On the other hand, I don't enjoy grading. I was born to teach. I was born to lesson plan. But I was not born to grade. I hate grading with a passion. So, twice a week, I have set time aside in which I do the grading or correcting or whatever you're comfortable calling it, or both, because I do both correcting and grading. And at that point, I also enter it in Homeschool Minder, which is what I use to track all our grades and our work for the year. And I really have to be disciplined about getting my grading done during these 2 time periods in the week, because if not, I fall behind. And that is one place, the grading, where I can let things go. And I've gotten myself in trouble in the past where I'm scrambling to get things done, or the kids will be entering a camp and they require the grades for the semester or the year, or they want to see the work the kids have done. They want to make sure that it's organized, so on and so forth. And I'm scrambling. So after that happened to me 3 years in a row, I decided I didn't want to go through that anymore. I'm not young enough, now that I'm in my mid-50s, to stay up all night and then stay up all day. It just doesn't work for me. So I really have to make sure that I get my grading done when I'm supposed to be getting it done. A big thing for me has been not to get carried away in all the extracurricular activities, in our lessons, in all the chores, but also add kid time to my schedule. When the girls were younger, this definitely meant going to the beach club, Barbies, Legos, listening to them sing, watching their performances, going to volleyball games. It has to be built into my schedule. I have to know that it's happening. And by a schedule, I don't mean that it's rigid, but I have to have it in my handy dandy weekly planner. Because if not, I become overwhelmed by all my responsibilities. And let's face it, some of those responsibilities, like unloading the dishwasher, not that big of a deal. It's more important to read a book with my bugaboo when he brings it over, or to listen to one of my daughters when they want to talk about their friends or the drama of the day, whatever is going on. And so I always build that into my schedule, and that's sacrosanct, meaning no matter what, I'm going to take that time with the kids. The other thing that's a big deal, and that not a lot of homeschool moms feel that they can do, is schedule self-care. We're full-time moms, we're full-time teachers, principals, janitors, wives, chauffeurs. We have all of this stuff going on, and we just don't take the time to take care of ourselves, to relax. And you would think that my morning walks and stuff, that's relaxation for me, but it really isn't. It's what I have to do because my doctor's making me. But I used to have an art class I took once a week, and then the pandemic and our moves happened, and that's gone. But now what I'm doing is I'm meeting on Zoom with a friend on Wednesdays, and we're painting or making jewelry, crafting something, where I have an adult conversation and I'm doing something that I enjoy for no other reason than I need a break. I need a break from being a teacher, being a mom, being a chauffeur, being a wife. I need a break to be me, to recharge my batteries. Now, a lot of moms tell me that they feel really guilty when they take this time. I don't even feel a little bit guilty. Not just because I deserve to take care of myself, but because when I take care of myself, I'm a better mother and I'm a better wife. I'm a better person. When I don't take care of myself, I'm a testy ogre. And who needs that? Who wants that? I don't need it. I don't want it. My kids certainly don't need it or want it. Neither do my friends, right? So I really make a point of making sure that there's time in my week for self-care. Now, I always do Wednesdays, but sometimes, guess what? I will go read a book by the pool. We're lucky enough to have a pool. And sometimes I'll take a golf cart ride with my husband because we live in a golf cart community in the Caribbean. Or sometimes I binge on a show or whatever the case is. But usually once or twice a week, I will take time for myself to make sure that I don't lose my sanity and make sure that I am the best mom and the best wife that I can possibly be. Now, after talking about all this organization, right, and all this scheduling, I accept that things will go wrong because they can go wrong, and that is just part of life. And even today, when I was recording this episode, I got interrupted like 50 times, and I'm not exaggerating. I do my best not to get frustrated and just reset because this is life, right? Things happen. They happen all the time. So I don't spend a lot of time stressing about potentially stressful events happening that are out of my control. It's going to happen. Life is out of our control. So things will happen. And when they do, I just go with the flow and I come back to my schedule as soon as I can. Just because that's the kind of person I am, keeps me sane, keeps me organized. But there is no question that the only way you can truly stay organized is by embracing the chaos into your organization. If you accept it, you will find a way to stay on top of things and be happy. I really hope that you're enjoying the show. I would really appreciate it if you take 5 minutes, just 5 minutes, to review and rate the podcast, or leave a comment on YouTube, or leave a comment on the blog. And join our Facebook group, which you can now find on our website. Remember, life can be overwhelming, but homeschooling doesn't have to be. For links and resources, please visit our website. Till next week, enjoy your kiddos.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Homeschooling with Dr. B. Head over to homeschoolingwithdrb.com for more information and resources. That's homeschoolingwithdrb.com. Until next time.